So, how did the world get so ugly? Modern design has become boring. This video is extremely popular. People linked it to me. We're going to look at it. Here we go. I think it's all for resale value, personally. And manufacturing ease. Ooh. Oh, wow. Ooh. That's crazy. The pointy things. The modern world.
Yep. The good and the bad.
I'm by the River Thames in London.
Yeah?
Now, it's a charming place where tourists love to come.
Uh-huh.
But why do they love coming here? Well, you've got views of iconic buildings like
Sure.
Houses of
It's a nice
Parliament
place.
In there, it's beautiful.
and St. Paul's Cathedral.
Uh-huh.
But
The
that's not
pointy
all.
things.
Have a look at this.
What's that?
It's
Is
a
that
typical
street light?
modern lamppost.
Modern street light.
Do you like it? Well, it does its job,
Yeah,
but not much else.
that's about it.
But look over here at another lamppost. It does its
Oh,
job
wow.
and a little bit more.
Don't they have one of these in Elden Ring?
In Elden Ring, everything in the city is beautifully sculpted. And weird.
Details like
Look at that.
these help make this such a charming place
The capital under the herb tree is absolutely beautiful in Elden Ring.
to be.
A work of art.
Yep.
But these two lampposts don't just look different. They represent fundamentally different worldviews. If you want to understand
Honestly, that's kind of true.
True, different philosophies and mentalities resulted in their creations.
I like this. This is good.
any society, don't listen to what it says about itself. Look at what it creates.
Yeah. Oh, all the spikes. That's good. Oh, that's why you don't have any of the.
Yes, this is so common in cities now that you have the old right next to new, and new is ugly as ugly as hell. Then you have places like Paris, which have strict building codes where everything is still beautiful inside the city, although it's being overrun by migrants.
Nevron's lying down. Smart.
London's little lanes are charming now.
Really depends on the place. In some neighborhoods, they go to great lengths to have building codes to maintain the aesthetic, and in others, not so much.
But 150 years ago in places like this, you'd have had whole families crammed into these tiny rooms
That
without
sucks.
running water.
Ugh.
There'd have been open cesspits spilling down the streets.
Ugh.
And the stench of sewage boiling in the midday sun would have been unbearable.
Ugh.
The whole
Oh yeah, Middle Ages was terrible. You have to understand, major cities like London, Paris, or any others, before sewer systems, they just shit in a bucket basically inside the house and throw the bucket out the window. You needed rain to come in and wash everything away. It hadn't rained in a while. It was, oh God, it stank. I'm so glad I do not live in the Middle Ages.
city stank.
Smell like shit. Literally.
It wasn't only
Basically, really, a lack of proper sewers that limited the size of cities back then.
horrible to live in, but genuinely dangerous. See, at
Well,
that
they still
point,
have those.
London had a problem. It was the world's biggest city. It's
This was right when the Industrial Revolution was happening. So they needed a lot of workers. And so London became much more crowded than typical big cities because of that demand for workers. And without a proper sewage system, it was awful.
population was growing every year, along with the construction of new factories and mills.
Yes, mills and factories. Like, instead of creating clothes by hand, they started doing them with mills, using often the river, like water power or other powers, and making clothing on industrial scale. And you need a lot of workers for that. and those workers need to live nearby, and it caused London to grow enormously, more than its infrastructure could keep up with.
And dockyards, all those people and all that industry produced a lot of waste.
Yeah,
It
of
had
course.
to go somewhere. Where did it go?
Into the
The
river.
water.
Into the Thames.
Oh, I was right. Yeah, there you go. So it's a shit beach? That's it.
It was a shit beach.
Just dirt everywhere.
Less so nowadays.
Something had to be done. And it was an engineer called Joseph Bazalgette who stepped in to construct London's new sewer network in
London savior.
the 19th century.
Oh, wow.
Sewers which still carry London's waste today, rushing beneath me.
So this legendary bald from years ago of an ancient age invented the best way to get rid of shit.
He's half joking, but that contribution was so valuable. Just imagine living today like they did back then. Don't underestimate our modern sewer system. How much that makes life better.
very moment. And he also constructed this embankment that I'm standing
Wow.
on to replace what was essentially a stinking swamp filled with rubbish and human waste and eels.
Yep.
It's impossible to calculate how many lives he saved, how many millions of lives he
Damn.
improved. And he's commemorated here
Good
at a
for him.
memorial that no one ever stops to look at.
Yeah. At least there's no graffiti on it. That's good. So they don't even understand. 1869. Holy shit.
When Bazalgette's embankment was
It's
completed
like 50 years ago.
in 1870, it needed lighting, of course.
Uh-huh.
And so a public competition was held to design the lamps that would line this new promenade. This was
That's
the
a
winning
map.
design featuring
It's a strange fish, but it makes you think. It makes you look at it. It's interesting. It's definitely not just bland and boring.
these peculiar creatures.
What the fuck?
It's a little much,
Yeah, this is like out of Bloodborne.
but what's clear is that the Victorians took great pride
Well, Bloodborne, I still want to play that so badly. Port it to PC.
in their embankment and thought it needed appropriately grand and dramatic
Yeah, look at the lions with rings in their mouths all along the river. Isn't it better if you had a choice to live somewhere that had cool, timeless decorations like this all around you?
decoration. See,
I mean, I do think the stuff looks cool. Like, that's really what
That's what it's supposed to be. That's its sole purpose, is to look great. Impressive.
it comes down to, right? Is like, do you want to live in a place that looks cool or not? I think this looks cool. That's what matters.
these lamps were among the first public electric lighting in the world.
At last.
This was a radical, revolutionary new technology.
Yeah.
Crowds literally gathered to watch them be lit up for
Wow.
the first time. What the iPhone was in 2007,
Yeah.
these lamps were in 1870.
So they still have the damn. You imagine seeing this? Like, it's crazy because you look at it now and it's like, well, that's kind of cool. But like, I bet you saw this like, you know, I'm not memeing, right? 150 years ago, right? This would be like fucking. This is like magic, bro. What do you mean you can make it turn on with a light and you don't need a fire? It's like sorcery, yeah.
But looking at it now, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
Those lampposts don't look modern to us now. They look quaint.
No, they don't look quaint. They look antique. Quaint has a negative connotation, and I think they're awesome.
Old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Why? Because they are decorated. And we don't associate decoration with cutting-edge technology. And that's
That's
a major
true.
difference between us and the Victorians in the 19th
Yeah.
century. They saw no contradiction between startling modernity and time-honored tradition.
Yes, you can have both in a lot of things, not everything. If it's something that needs to be portable, like a laptop, yes, of course. But then again, desktops are a good example of that. There's some very elaborate and pretty desktops that are very decorated. So we still decorate some things today.
Just like this building, the legendary Houses of Parliament.
Wow.
It was brand new once, but even
Yes, if you can have a building that's going to be the capital of your country, its beauty reflects on your country. You want it to be awesome.
then, it had been designed in an old and medieval style of architecture.
Holy shit.
Every technology
Blending the old with the new. That's peak art. That's what you want, in my opinion.
becomes obsolete and outdated.
This is just a box.
But a good aesthetic,
Yes, these are timeless. There's an entire show, Doctor Who, that's revolves around a telephone booth.
even if fashions change, can never become obsolete.
That's true.
It is definitionally timeless.
I mean, we still have pyramids, you know, people still go to see those.
Yes, the pyramids. I don't know what's the best example, Asmongold, because we were talking about things that are decorated, and pyramids are impressive. They're a feat of engineering, but they're not. The inside maybe are decorated, but the outside not so much. It's just rock. But the Sphinx would have been a better one.
Listen, that shit was a long time ago.
Those lamps on the embankment did their job. And even though more efficient and
Yeah.
better methods of lighting have been invented, they remain 150 years later.
Yeah, people are gonna like looking at those, and I think really it's just cool, and I feel like that's enough reason right there by itself.
Yes, entire point. It's cool. If you're just walking down the street, you want to see something beautiful.
You know, the blueprint history, who built it? I don't know. Pyramids are at least 100 years ago. I think like 500 years ago.
Add a zero, Asman. 5,000 years ago. People don't realize how far back Egypt was. A long time ago. Before the Greeks, before the Romans, there was Egypt.
Actually,
That's the power of good design. And it applies to lampposts no less than to national parliaments.
yep, that looks badass.
That. You'd want your capital to look like something like this, something that is timeless and beautiful.
National parliaments.
Yep, that looks badass.
Badass, as Asmund says.
Look at that. Holy shit. Yeah, like, I mean, look at this, bro. This is like out of a video game.
Out of video game. It's sad. It's sad hearing him say that because he associates this type of beauty with video games. If you go trip around Europe or even some of the older regions of the United States, you get this type of beauty in real world things, in churches, the stained glass window, like Notre Dame. You didn't have video games, you didn't have TVs, you didn't have all that back then. So what did they do? They made beautiful buildings, beautiful art, beautiful statues. So there was so much awesome architecture from back then. But it's funny that he associates this type of elegance with video games because he hasn't encountered it enough in real life.
Game. Like, they put all the effort and time into putting all this together and everything. Like, this is this is like your culture, right? This is your country. And like, you want to have stuff that looks cool like this. It's true that we don't build.
It's your country, yeah, it's your culture, it's your heritage, it's British people's heritage. And when you bring the immigrants, but when you let millions of people in that their ancestors didn't do it, it's not their culture, they just don't have the same respect as if it was your forefathers who made this, you will respect it more. It's just natural. It's like blood relations are stronger than non-blood relations. It's just... Sorry, it just annoys me how culture, history, and people who appreciate things like this are being erased by mass immigration.
Build stuff like this anymore, and there's not as much emphasis on it like there used to be. There's not at all. I think one of the other reasons is that they don't want to make stuff like this anymore because people fuck it up. That's
another aspect to it.
Another big component, I think, at least here in America.
And so here, in the Houses of Parliament, everything we've been talking about comes together at last. Except that this is not the Houses of Parliament.
What is, I don't know what this is.
It's an old sewage facility, a pumping station built in the
You telling me this is a shit shack? Oh my God.
Can you believe that?
I thought this shit was a museum. What?
Well, England's first sewage system, and this was the building to administer it.
Century as part of Final Jet's new sewer system. Strange to think that this is
What do you mean?
Incredible.
a purely functional building with the sole purpose of managing human waste.
Yeah, yeah.
And yet it has been designed with the same ornamental exuberance as any church or palace.
Yeah.
Why? Well, people worked here. And why shouldn't people who work in sewers also...
I wonder, like, because y'all ever had a situation where your internet goes down for like an...
I mean, having one of the world's first really major modern sewer systems, it was a big deal. So I can understand the people involved. It was going to be grandiose and to some extent.
hour, and you make more progress on household chores or little things that you've had to catch up on, you make like a month's worth of progress in 43 minutes. Right? Right. Yeah. And so I think that's kind of what happened, is that like really there were so few distractions back then, and people didn't have like the infinite things that were competing for your attention at like every single microsecond that you exist. That
I agree to an extent that maybe that's a tiny part of it, but I think it's also, as you said, no distractions, no TVs, no smartphones. So you have to look at your surroundings a lot more. Where you are, the building you is, you're not staring down at your phone. You appreciate your surroundings more. So they made them more elaborate.
they could focus on doing stuff like this more. I think that's a big component.
Have a beautiful place of work. That is how the Victorians...
It's also, at this time in England's history, it was an empire. It was at the height of England's power. And London represented that power. They wanted to project their greatness, and it made its way into everything, even a sewer station.
thought. But there's more.
No internet, yeah.
There was
Oh, an age without internet, huh?
also a
Fewer
sense
distractions,
of
exactly.
pride. A belief that what they'd done here was worthwhile, that it meant something.
Yeah.
And the result, over a
He's
century
talking about
later,
right now, yeah.
is that this place, a sewage facility, is now a museum, a tourist destination. If you want...
When they did this, they created something of value, not only when it was operating, but nowadays as a museum, the work they did, it still has value. It's still being appreciated. It's enduring to this day.
Want to know what any society really believes in? Just look at how they design their sewers.
Uh-oh.
I just have to mention it. If we're talking about elaborate and functional, Moscow metro art. Take the metro in just the ordinary metro in Moscow. You have this. This isn't a museum. This isn't a palace. Ornate beauty of Moscow's palatial metro stations. Look at that. I've actually visited in Moscow. This is the metro train on each side. This is just a metro station. It's the same principle as in the video, so I just thought I'd mention that.
Damn, look at that. They don't even have the pointy things.
Just a few steps from the old 19th century Victorian pumping station.
You know what all this reminds me of? It reminds me of like modern video game interfaces. You know, and like I never really thought about it like this. Like, let me see here.
It's funny how everything goes to video games that's been gold. This is fine. His audience is gamers, so they can relate to such examples a lot more.
Like this is like this look at this interface. Like compare this, like this is the same difference like video games, right? Is you compare like Diablo Immortal or Diablo 4 to this. Right? Like you got something like this going on, and like it's a totally different universe, totally different world, right?
Yeah, if we're going examples, Persona 5 menus. They have the most stylish menus.
And like it's just the style and like the effort that's put into it is just so much better. It's so much 1,000 fucking times better. And I go back and I think about this, and that's another thing too, is that I always think about like which ones do I go back and think about later on. The original Xbox UI? Oh, with the 4 things. Yeah, I remember that. It's a loss of collective identity too, which is happening a lot. No, you're right. Yeah, it's exactly. the
collective identity is important. It's migration destroys that. I hate it.
Erasure of the collective culture. I think absolutely you're right.
Which is now being decommissioned. Is the one built to replace it?
This is the one built to replace it. Functional. About as ugly as you can get.
It's not bad, I suppose. But it was very clearly not built by the same society.
Oh, there's shit on the ground.
Or at least not by society with the same views about architecture and design. Will this, like the original, be turned into a museum?
I don't think.
No, it will not.
So.
Maybe.
So
we can make it a prison.
I imagine that it is more functional. And that it was more convenient to build and to design.
Cheaper. More bang for your buck out of this one.
Convenient. Now that's an important word.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The air conditioning?
Look at this air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
I think it says more about the modern world than anything else. More than phones or social media.
Yeah.
It's a miraculous technology. One that has changed
magic,
the world and
honestly.
improved billions of lives.
Oh, I cannot imagine living before air conditioning. You know, yes, they're ugly, but they are so nice to have, and old buildings weren't built with them in mind. I think it's a necessary evil to have stuff like this.
Yes.
Hence, we stick them literally everywhere.
Right.
But it's ugly. Ugly because it doesn't seem to express any belief in the idea that ordinary things can also be beautiful. But worse than ugly, it's boring. Now, it would certainly be a bit more expensive to make it prettier. Take a little time and care and attention. But these days, it seems that we would rather make more money to make things look pretty.
Because nobody has any money.
Maybe that's okay.
Honestly, England is a little bit of power in decline. It's, I should just put it this way. It's not a great power like it was back then.
Well, I think they probably had a bunch of functional stuff back then, too, that nobody gave a shit about, and it was just there to...
Yep, I agree completely. The functional stuff, that doesn't endure. It's gone. Functional stuff, no one objects to having it destroyed and replaced with something else. It's only the timeless, beautiful things like this lamppost, everyone will object, and there'll be riots if they try to replace it. But the simple one from the beginning of the video, if they want to replace that one, no one will object.
To do something, but the problem is that the amount of it, the percentage of it was like that. Like now, everything is functional, interchangeable slop that has no identity or cultural value at all. And the only things that we have that are from that is like from like 200 years ago. But like, obviously it doesn't mean everything has to be like that. Survivor.
Honestly, there are places in the world that are still building like that. And you can tell that those are countries in ascendance, like China and Russia. Is still a pride, and they're still building elaborate infrastructure. It's being cheap versus not being cheap.
Worship bias? Exactly, yeah.
So you can see, I hope.
So like it's not like it's not 100% or zero.
As simple as those lampposts, you can understand the Victorians
in their entirety. They didn't have to make it look like that, but they did. Now, you might not think it's beautiful,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was supposed to be beautiful. It was just supposed to be pretty. At least
Must look good.
interesting.
Just look at the bench he's on. Look how elaborate. He doesn't mention it, but that's another example. It's functional, but it's beautiful too.
Yeah.
At least
Of course.
not
Duh.
boring.
That's modern lighting lamppost.
Yeah, it doesn't look like shit.
In itself says an awful lot. Walking around a city, any city, and looking at its buildings and its infrastructure,
Yeah.
you're not just looking at objects. You're looking at religions and principles, beliefs and ideas.
The skyscrapers, its finances, huge importance in the world. And those are the ones that still are elaborate and more than just functional. Like, look at the shape of these skyscrapers. Like, when you see a weird shaped skyscraper, that's not function. That's incorporating that in its own way, beauty into it.
These buildings, they don't just look different. They represent fundamentally
It is art in its own way. This one less so.
different worldviews, clashing ideas about how we should all think, live,
The fuck
and
was
behave.
that?
And those skyscrapers say the same thing as our air conditioning units and sewage plants, that we have become a society of convenience above all else.
Yeah, it's probably true. Yeah, people just care about being able, like, I think there's also like a degree of, I think that there's a lot less people that like kind of live in the moment. I think that there's so much focus on, the next thing or some sort of, like, there's not really.
There is also the thing that for the last 20 years or so, our entire education system has taught that things made by old white men are bad. Anything Western is bad. I mean, there are some in extreme cases of saying like math is bad. Children in school are taught not to value the old. And I think that has an impact. That definitely has an impact in how much they appreciate old and beautiful architecture like this.
Really, I'm trying to think like the good word. I don't really know what the word is for it. It's not coming to mind. But like there's a degree of kind of presence, I guess, like, direct presence that people generally don't have nowadays. I don't know really if you've noticed this, but like if you go back.
My mother is an art conservator, so she repairs paintings, and so I know that old masters like paintings made during the Renaissance and all that are a few hundred years old have completely fallen off because young people don't value them. They buy this completely ugly modern art. And the reason for that is just that they're taught in school that all these old white men painters were oppressors, and it definitely has an impact.
Just doesn't.
Yeah, this is art in its own way, modern art.
You're on call all the time, focus on shit.
But there's something
constantly.
else
Yeah.
that we haven't mentioned about these lampposts.
Uh-huh.
It would be easy to believe that they were made by artists and that we somehow wouldn't be able to or couldn't afford to make them anymore.
Of course you could.
But just like our modern
Yeah.
lampposts, our air conditioning units, our everything,
Yeah.
these were also mass-produced, made in a factory. We could still mass-produce lamps
Uh-huh.
just like these if we wanted to. We can make our offices and our warehouses look like Crossnest pumping stations.
But there would be like a 5-10% increase in cost if you did that, and that's why they don't.
That's
We
nice.
could make anything we want. That's the ultimate truth, the hardest one to accept.
People put up with
But
it.
we don't. We have other priorities. And that's fine. But it's vital we accept that there is another way.
It's more expensive. I think that the government should try to do things like this, like works of art. Like, I think it's important to have that so you can establish like a cultural heritage. Because I think if you don't have that, you lose a degree of like shared experience living in a world. Let's dare we argue whose fairy tale gets to reign supreme? I mean,
Problem with that is you have veterans that are homeless, you have leftists who want to pay for the hotels of migrants, and you have the right that wants to reduce the size of government. You have all this pressure to not spend. And so that's why an ascendant country like Britain during the height of its power has more extra to spare for things like this. Nowadays, there's a lot of pressure that makes artistic designs infrastructure difficult.
Now, why things have changed is a significant question. But that's
It's
for another
money.
time. For now, what's important is to realize that things clearly have changed.
Yeah, it's way different
And that
now.
we've learned this
Way
just by
different.
looking at all the ordinary objects around us. Now,
It's also easier to
this isn't
destroy
about
something.
past
Yeah.
versus present. It's about learning from the past in order to improve.
I have to disagree. There is an aspect of the past versus present because our modern education system is directly attacking the past. Everything, the values, like in terms of like, traditional marriage to traditional art, traditional everything. Anything made by the old white men is evil, according to some. And that definitely affects appreciation for all this old art.
The present.
Yeah.
And what the Victorians can teach us is that even ordinary, useful things can also be beautiful.
It's true.
Yep.
It looks nice. Looks really nice. But yeah, I think this is really, really great video. I'm gonna subscribe to this guy's channel and give him a like. And
I agree, this was a great video, and I am going to do the same. Well, this will be on YouTube. Like and subscribe, can watch on Twitch or Kick. And that's all for now. Bye.